Are you ready to join me in transforming fear to freedom? That's the objective of the show. Are you ready to explore with me and my guests? Are you ready to get into the deep and play? This is where it's at, and that's what it's all about. No medical advice here. Use discernment and decide for yourself if the information is right for you. All views and opinions expressed on this show belong to the individual and are not necessarily shared with the producer of the show. Want more details? Go to letsgetrealchattinwithcatherine.com. Now let's get real and have some fun. Who are we going to explore with today? Come on with me and let's get into the deep.
Welcome back to another episode of Let's Get Real Chattin with Catherine. You know, I like to go real and get really into the deep in discussions, and Teza Zialcita was a guest on my show previously, and she's back today. She has graciously given me a copy of her book, Universal Conscious Self, and we talked about it a little bit on the previous show, but the audio wasn't great the last time, and we're hoping that it will be much better this time so that you can really get into this with us. And because Teza's got an amazing story, and her new awareness is really important to share. So I want to really get into this. You can check out Teza's profile page, get her contact information and everything by going to lgrcc.com. Go to the guest link on the top navigation bar, scroll down to her name, and you'll read all about her and get her information. Very exciting. Let's get into this chat right now. So once again, we're back with Teza Zialcita, author of Universal Conscious Self, and I'm so excited, Teza, that you shared this with me, and what a lovely gift, because it's you know, look how it's not that thick, and yet it's packed full of tools and things that you came to learn and shared with others. So welcome back to Let's Get Real Chattin with Catherine. My absolute pleasure to have you with me today. How are you today?
Oh, I'm great. Thank you, Catherine. I'm so excited. I love the way we chat and just go with the flow.
Yes, awesome. I enjoy it too. And at the introduction, I said to people, you know, I apologize for the last video. Sometimes that stuff cannot be helped. You know, it's the energy, it's the what's happening around, and the audio and the visual gets mixed up. But there was a lot of important information that we shared there. And so I am expecting, as you know, everyone knows, I don't follow a script, so I just follow where my intuition guides me. And I expect some of that stuff will come up again because it is so important. So hopefully you won't mind revisiting some of that stuff with me, Teza.
Oh, no. I'm very open. It's an open book.
You are that. So since we last chatted, you know, there's been some changes on the planet. I mean, we're always changing, right? That's the planet, that's Earth. But I have really noticed some very powerful shifts in energy, and a lot more people sort of, how shall I use the word, waking up to what's been going on behind our backs, you know, in our social systems, in our political systems, stuff on the news, stuff coming up that's really got people excited. And I'm just wondering, you know, my thoughts on that were that we have so much more light on the planet now, so many more people seeking light, seeking love, that we're able to see the dark, that we're able to see the shadows. And I wondered if you could give us your what you're seeing. I know you're doing some energy updates for people weekly now. So I thought, well, this might sort of fit in with that.
Yeah, it's amazing. As she said, there's a lot of, we have a lot of assistance from our consciousness. It's like, because of the human evolution, you know, it's kind of very dense. So now people are awakening and they want to feel why they're here for. Yeah. So, yeah, our spiritual guides are in that realm, the other dimensions are all here. Everything is here. So when we ask, it's given to us. And I see that with people that I work with, and it's amazing. It's amazing journey as you see more truth. Like people, they can't hide anymore, I should say, in the politics everywhere. So people are waking up with and consciously, like with their food and the way we could help our earth to for us to be friendly, to help our future generations, our children, our grandchildren.
Mm-hmm. And when do you find, though, like that as we are waking up to, say, some of the stuff that's been going on, what I have experienced in my life is usually you don't see it. You don't see something until you're ready to deal with it. You're not, it's like the stuff that's been going on in the planet for such a long time. Maybe we didn't have the consciousness or the tools to handle it before. Maybe that's part of the reason it was so easy to conceal it from us. We weren't ready to notice that, oh, all these things have been going on, and all this, with the money and the financial situation and the what's been happening to the planet. Maybe we were so busy living our lives trying to feed our families and do things like that, we weren't really aware of the impact that our decisions, our choices, for our energy choices, all those kinds of things. Now we're seeing the old ways are sort of falling apart, but new ways are showing up, and we are able to see alternative forms of energy, alternative ways to eat. Some of the things that have been done to our food, it's coming to our awareness, but I'm finding it's not just coming to our awareness so we can say, oh, they're bad, doing this bad stuff to us. It's coming for another reason. It feels like to me. And so I'm wondering what you, from your guides and the angels that you work with, what kind of sense are you getting about why it's all coming up now?
Okay, there, like I'm receiving the messages that our Earth is a part of the solar system. It's in the universal. It's in the universe, and the universal energy had really it's like a symphony, and like with science. Michio Kaku had this string theory, which is not a concept before by Darwinian and Newtonian. So as we evolve with our knowledge scientifically, our spiritual self, our soul, our higher self, is actually connecting to that bank, to the universal bank, which is everything. So I'm not sure if I went that way, the answer, but what I get is we are all part of this quantum field. And it's like the more people are awake, it creates a rippling energy, a rippling effect. So our ancestors, who are light workers, our grandmothers, who are in touch with this ancient wisdom, they already created this in our ocean. If we're talking physically, it's in the ocean. So this ocean is just a rippling effect of us. And that's how I see it.
So it's sort of like the chicken and the egg. We don't know which came first. Like, we're seeing it now because we're ready for it, or what the ancestors wished for, dreamed of, intended has come to fruition, and now we are reaping those benefits. Just like our children and their children will benefit from what we have been longing for and wishing for and intending for. Although time is speeding up, so it's happening we're probably going to see things that our ancestors hoped to see but didn't see in their lifetimes, right?
Yes, it's all like everything is simultaneous.
Right, there is no time. Yeah.
There is no time. So the past, which is our ancestors, did not forecast technology like computers. That's the past, and the present, which is now happening, which is the technology, and the future, which is traveling in other planets, or I mean, we're already traveling in other planets. The future would be creating a lifestyle in other planets. So there's going to be like a interplanetary movements. Like we can have a life here and a life in other planets, and there's a beautiful, more universal intelligence.
Wow, that's cool. Okay, so I want to go back. I'm feeling like I want to go back for the viewers and listeners to get a little bit, because we've only done one show, Teza, and as I said, the audio wasn't great. So I want to take you back to telling us some of, because your book, Universal Conscious Self, Simple Steps to Connect to Your True Essence. Now, this, you weren't a writer to start with, and I, as you know, people that listen to the other show will know you're a nurse now, and you work with a lot of elderly people who are in the process of crossing over. So you're seeing a lot of transition in your daily life, which is interesting because, you know, when you think of synchronicity, that you would have that understanding and be placed in an environment like that is such a gift to those people, and then you get to share some of those stories with us. So I would like to just, we'll just kind of briefly go back to how you came to write this book. Because your story is really quite interesting. Now, when you were a baby, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but you had diphtheria and died and had a near-death experience. So you got out of your body and you could see your mom and everybody outside of...
like the hallway in the hospital, I saw my two brothers.
In the hallway in the hospital, and you were not in the hallway. And to remember that, I mean, it's pretty profound to remember anything from when you're two, but which kind of tells you that it was an expansion, that it's not like a remembering a dream, it's real, and it's more profound than real, even, that you could keep remembering that, right?
Uh-huh.
But when I talked to you the last time, we didn't really go into the details. Like, you had this out-of-body experience, this near-death. Well, they had said you were dead, right? As a baby?
Yes.
They thought you were dead. So can you give us some of the details of what you saw besides the hallway? Did you see anything else? Did you go any further? Did you have that moment? You know, we hear different people's stories about light, a tunnel of light, or of an angel saying, no, you have to go back, or things like that. Did you have any of that happen?
That's interesting, because before that, actually, at 2 years old. Okay. Anyway, I remember always asking my mother why I have this vision. I saw my body, that she's carrying me, and there was a tent. It's an oxygen tent. I didn't realize that was an oxygen tent in 1965.
Yeah.
And also I saw my two brothers running in the hallway. There was a door, a white door. But then after that that vision, I went into darkness.
Oh.
And I couldn't understand it. So I kept asking God, why was I in the darkness? I didn't see any light. So after all these years, when I went to study Akashic Records, I became in tune with my guides and my spiritual, ascended masters. And I actually received the message that I went into the womb of Earth.
Wow.
Which is the Akashic Records. So the records of our creation is at the womb of the earth. That is why it's darkness. Then I have this vision that I went into the angel's realm. So as I'm growing here in our planet, as Teza,
Yes.
my spirit, because it went to the angel's realm, so that's the angel's realm. Simultaneously, it's growing in this angel's realm.
Right.
While I'm here.
Right. Right. Because there's more than just this of us. That's what.
Multi-dimensions.
Right. Right.
So I tap into that angel's realm, and I saw my 2-year-old girl body running, and there was this beautiful huge tree, just like Genesis. Yeah, it's amazing. And I have this long hair, and archangels and angels were all running around, and they were preparing me. They were preparing me to meet the divine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was an amazing experience. And when they kissed me, there's 4 archangels that came to me. They kissed me, and I even felt the sweetness. Because I was in the table, I was in an energy healing session. Like someone is working with me in that session.
Okay. Okay.
The divine doesn't have a face or anything. It was just like an awesomeness. And I hear this word, it's time. And yeah, literally I felt like a big fall, and I was screaming. I was screaming in the energy table, like in the room.
So just to be clear, you were having like some people have a massage on a table. You're laying on a table, or a Reiki session. You're laying on a table and someone's working on you. And you were having this experience, and so you're having this vision, and then you started screaming for real.
Yes, for real.
Okay, because you thought you were falling.
Yes. And they lifted me up, and I heard this swoosh, that sound, swoosh, and twice. And then I realized I have no more fear. And I came back. And that was done after I got this amazing attunement. They call it attunement to the angel's realm. So my spirit had connected to that realm on why I am here. Because as a human being, we get confused about our mission, our roles, or why am I doing this? Why am I rescuing, saving, whatever? Mm-hmm. And then you get aligned to that higher self.
Right.
So,
and so when you were 2 and you had that experience, and then you did come back and you were, living your normal life. From that time on, were you open to, did you see, as a child growing up, did you see angels? Did you see your relatives? Or did you have any spiritual, I'm going to call them metaphysical type of experiences beyond what we know many of us have?
Yes. Yeah. I would always talk to my angels, and I would tell my friends. We would create a circle, and I would give them show them the power of angels. And yeah,
as a child.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like I live in magic, like in a fairy tale.
Yeah.
I would, at 9 years old, I saw my grandmother's ghost. Because that night I kept asking my father why I haven't seen any grandparents, because they died young.
Right.
She appeared to me, and I described her to my father, and he says, "Yeah, that's your grandmother."
Very nice.
Yeah, and there's another one, a cousin of mine, and he died of a heart attack, and he used to visit us in that guest room, and I saw him standing there, and he just died. And it's just like, I don't understand, but the energy, I could feel them.
Yeah.
And I would tell, like, I would have vivid visions or dreams, and it happens. So, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just because I really want to. You have such an exciting story, and the fact that you remember. I mean, I'm pretty sure most people that I've heard talk about a true near-death experience, they never forget it because it's so different from this illusion we call life. That is so different that you just, it's not like a dream. It's very different. But so when you were playing your magical games and such, and a lot of children do, and they have their imaginary friends and things like that, and many adults, don't really understand that, or they will tell children, oh yeah, but that's not real. It's not your real imaginary, their imaginary friend. They're not real. And then you find out years later that that was an angel, or it was an ancestor, or it was something like that they finally realized they've known all this time. But when that happens, they often stop. They shut it down. But did you shut it down as a child and then revisit it? Or did you just keep more quiet about it but still had the experience?
I think it's the suffering. Like when I went through abortion, that's when I stopped. I actually got angry at God because I was having such a
it was forced on you. It was a forced and illegal abortion. So it would have been extremely painful for you. And
I was very angry.
Yeah, I can imagine that. And it would have been really painful for the baby too, which is probably another thing that you would have tapped into, is that whole process, right?
Yes.
So that's when you stopped because you were mad at God. It's like, okay, fine, I'm not having anything to do with you. Aren't we funny? We are so funny. Because people say that all the time. Well, if God is God and God loves us, why would God let all these bad things happen? And so I'm guessing that might have been your question too. If you're so loving and you're there, why did you let this happen to me?
Yeah. Like, why would I need to come back here? Like, what for?
Oh, you're mad because you died and then you came back and then you had this suffering. So, I know this is really quite personal, but did you get an answer?
Well, now I know the answer because, I'm in this space. But during my married life and stuff, I was actually open to God. That's the mystic in me. I'm always communicating with God.
Even though you were mad at him and...
Well, I forgave him.
That's very good of you.
It wasn't God. It was just my fate too. I believe it's a destiny. Because without those sufferings and drama and trauma, I wouldn't be able to be who I am now and help other people. Yeah. So, a gift. So I turn every pain into a gift. Yeah. It is a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, and I think that's where people sometimes get a little bit stuck, is that they think, well, I didn't need, when other people say, well, all the suffering, all the challenges in life are really a gift. And some people say, well, I didn't ask for this, or I didn't, but we're starting to understand, or more and more of us are starting to understand, that you didn't ask for it at the human level here, but your higher self did ask for the experience and did ask for the learning, so that, like you say, you could grow, or you could know something that you didn't know before. Because when we are on the other side, we don't have physical body, so we don't know what it feels like to touch, to hurt, to have that pain, right? We don't have that. So it's hard for us to understand, because we say we don't like suffering, but yet we create a lot of suffering on the planet for ourselves and for others. So as you continued to have the conversation with God, but you didn't actually come to what you do today as an Akashic reader, which, as you explained before, the Akashic records is everybody has access to. It's just a matter of whether or not you open to it. And when anybody's reading your energy field or anything like that, they're reading from the Akashic Records, right? Which is the big library of the universe. So everything you've ever said or done is recorded. Correct?
Yes. Sometimes it depends on the healer, because if you go to a psychic reading, they could only tap into the psyche.
Ah.
So it's not really the soul. Because Akashic reading is actually your soul, your contract. There's a difference. There's a difference between a psychic reading and a soul healing.
Oh, that's very interesting. I never quite... Okay, so a psychic is only picking up on your psyche, which is what? Your human...
Your archetypes or what's going on with you. It's like a radio frequency. So they're tuning into your psyche, the mental field.
Which is what you're projecting, what you create. So if they were doing a psychic reading on me, they would be picking up on my thoughts,
Yes.
And even though I may not be conscious of it, they might pick up on something I'm projecting, and so when they're saying, you know, if you go for this job interview, you're probably going to get the job. I actually know that, and they're just reading it for me.
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah. Okay, that's very interesting. Whereas Akashic reading, you are picking up on the soul's...
The soul contracts. So there's a lot in it. Like it's a multi-dimensions.
Okay, the soul contracts.
The records. So, and when you go for an Akashic reading, the message that you're going to receive is only appropriate at that moment. And then
okay, this is really good because I want to really get into what you do so that people who are watching will know that, like, they can, if they decide they want to have a reading with you, what to expect, because it is different. Like, I'm not sure if you realize, I actually have on my website now, I'm offering what I call uncommon sense readings, and I don't read like a psychic reader. It's not that. It's tapping into my own knowing, which is very common sense. It's common sense, but it's not that common anymore because people complicate things so much. So really what I'm offering is an opportunity for a person to, I'm not going to tell them the future. I'm going to pick up on their energy, what they're saying, to help them to put it into more practical sense from my experience with life, which I've experienced a lot of life. So that's where I go. So, and I think it's important to make these distinctions. There's psychic reading, okay? And then, you know, there's people who have different tools. They use cards, and you also use cards and things like that too, don't you? With your, because you're called an Akashic reader.
Not really.
Okay,
I'm called Akashic Records Healer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, some people call, I know.
It's important.
That came out from my friends, actually, because they know that I'm a healer. I'm not a reader. So, he came out to me and says, Teza, you have to change that reader. You're not a reader. You're a healer.
Yeah, well, that's what I was wondering too, is people, when they come to you, they're not coming for a reading, they're coming for a healing.
Yes.
And that would also make a difference in how the person presents themselves, because there are times, I mean, this might seem funny, but sometimes people don't want to be healed.
Yeah.
You're not ready. You're not, sometimes, this has been my experience, an illness or a dis-ease in the body, serves a purpose.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah, so it's good if they know they're not coming for a reading, they're coming for a healing.
Yes. Don't use cards when we're doing a healing.
You don't use cards?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for the people watching and listening, I mean, I think that's really something that would be great. I mean, I know we're going to have another chat in the future. So, and I really want to, first of all, let people know they can get your book so that they can tap into some of this information themselves, right? Like that's the purpose of it. Universal Conscious Self. and you get Teza Zialcita, and all the information is on the guest profile page for people. But Teza, maybe you can just tell them where they can get it.
It's in Amazon.com and Balboa Press, .com.
Yeah. And the links are also on the website too. So can you give us a little bit more than concept of than what you do? And we'll kind of focus on that for today, because I think that's what wants to be shared.
All right. So when a person comes for healing, I ask them to have questions and intentions before they come. And the night before they come, I usually get visions or dreams, insights about their soul. And so when we're in the healing room, I get visions of their past life, and I have it's like my body becomes like a electric cable, like electricity.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. And then I feel where the blockage is. So when it's around the head, it's about, of course, it's the nervous system, the crown chakra, the head, everything is like the energy. I could pinpoint where it's coming from. And there's a pathway to this healing. It's a forgiveness prayer. Okay. So we create an energy that is actually, so usually a person that comes is blocked with their relationships. They haven't forgiven their parents or their brothers or whatever. So
only in this life? Or
some lifetimes.
All the lives. All
yes.
the lives. Okay.
Yes. And even like, for example, they're having a difficulty with their children because they have a past life with their children and it wasn't forgiven.
Uh-huh.
Until the person become aware that he has a past life with this child, that he needs to tap into the Akashic and ask for forgiveness from that timeline, then it heals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and so when a person, I'm just trying to figure out, like, because I know from my understanding, you have your energy body, and that when there's disharmony, it shows up in the energy body before it shows up in the physical body. So if you can address it in the energy body, then you don't have to experience the dis-ease or discomfort in your physical body. But how, like, what would be, like, obviously, if I could come to you, let's say I had a problem with my back or something, physically, I had cancer or I had something like that already manifested in my physical body. That would be an indication, okay, I want that. To me, those two were, that kind of dis-ease and healing goes together. But if it's not showing up in your physical body, hopefully, which would be great, and you can get it while it's in the energy body, but what would be an indicator? Like, how would I know something is, like you're saying, okay, if you're having difficulty in relationship with your child, so normal problems raising children, but yet sometimes you have one child and they don't listen to you, they're arrogant, they're mean, you can have that happen. Mm-hmm. And you wonder why, and like you're saying, it could be from a past life, but what other kinds of things show up in that thing? Relationship with money, relationship with stepping out into the world, like, are those also things that need healing?
Oh yes, yeah. Like people comes to me for career, or what's going on with their business, or their path for studies. What's good for them? It's very practical. Like, yeah. It's not really airy fairy. They come to align themselves to become to be happy.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm meaning. Why I'm wanting to go down this road with you is because sometimes like people will say, I've been struggling, or I've been working at doing this for so long. I've been trying to get my business going, and I've done everything people told me to do, and I'm still not achieving what I want, or it's not reflecting exactly how I feel, or it might not even be a business, it might be career. I'm working for other people, and I keep going from job to job, and I'm never happy. So why would that happen? What would that be an indication of in your energy field, or is it self-esteem? Is it, what kind of?
You could actually, like everything is self-love. So when the person is not wholesome, like loving themselves, they have this energy of, it's like fragmented. So there's an attachment to other stuff. So they're not really wholesome. So the things that they surround themselves are not supportive, and they're not nurturing themselves. So everything is self-love. When you love yourself, love comes around you, and love is the vibration of money.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it, that we've been taught love or money instead of understanding it's that flow, it's that whole thing. But
with spiritual people, there's a lot of that. Like I was in that dynamics as well before. It's like, how can I be spiritual? Because I have this Mother Teresa thing that she's so poor, and she gives everything to others.
But she wasn't really poor. It's just that she didn't attach herself to money. She used it. She used like millions. She had access to millions.
Expensive.
Yes, incredibly so. I mean, she didn't wear it the way, and that's the thing about letting money own you, or you owning money, or furniture or whatever it is. Like, if you don't get attached to your stuff, then it can flow, and then you have more, and you always have enough, right?
Yes. And also about spiritual or energy exchange. Like a person would do some healing, and he would not give monetary value to that. And I'm saying it's an energy exchange. It's not about the money. It's about your worth, your value. So when he recognized that, then he realizes money is spiritual. Everything is spiritual. Physical and spiritual is in parallel.
Well, and the other thing, Teza, that I understand about that energy exchange is that, so you say somebody wants to come to you for a healing or healer, and you're going to use your gifts, your talents, what they are, and then they say, well, I will give you something else. If that something else isn't something you want, then it isn't a fair energy exchange. And that's why we use money, is because you may need food, and the person wants to exchange tires for your car, or so we use money, and that way you get to choose how you're going to use that money. So, and people don't seem to fully understand that a person using their gifts, their time, their talent, is the same as a person who is performing brain surgery, painting a mural, building a house. There's still gifts, talent, time. It's all the same. And that way, it's all the same.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I want to just bring this a little bit more into the practical. So a person comes to Teza for a reading, and say they are challenged with, let's say it's an illness thing, a disease thing.
Yeah.
And they come to you and they say, doctors told me I had something. Practically speaking, do you look at their energy field and with their consent, obviously if they come to you, they're giving an informed consent. Do you do like the actual physical healing on the body, or do you just look at it and detect it and then give them some exercises to do? Or how does that work? The actual, I come to you, I'm going to have a session with you. how can you give us, like, not any personal details, but sort of an outline of what that would look like?
Yes. When a person comes and she has, for example, cancer, and we open the records, just like when we start the prayers actually compose of releasing entities and beings in the other dimensions, timelines, ancient past lives. While she was saying that, she would actually literally feel this energy of releasing. And some people cries even at the start, because you're clearing, you're releasing the other stuff. And then we move into that's just the first phase. It's the opening. And when the records is open, we work with the spiritual guides, the higher selves, and the ascended masters. They intercede, because the Akashic records, the realm, it is protected by the lords of the Akashic records.
Mm.
So when it's open, the healing itself is the Akasha, is the Akashic field. So it downloads information between me and the person. So then I would get the messages that this cancer is coming from, relationship with the parents, with her incarnation right now, because she has not sealed her timeline contract somewhere, that I'm going to receive. And the healing is happening as we speak. There's nothing really that I touch or do.
Right. And so
I'm not the one healing.
You're facilitating, and because you have the gift to be able to see it, to hear, to pick up on the energy, right? I get that. But then have you had that happen where, disclaimer here, I'm not saying that, cures and all that stuff, they get all about that, but have you seen that happen in your experience where you worked with someone and they've had something like a cancer and that they've healed themselves?
Yeah, actually, just a prayer. Someone sent me a message to say a prayer, send a message to Jay, and it was from Facebook. And I had this message. I was saying, I don't know this person, but I'm compelled to write a message. So I sent the message to the couple, and they wrote me back, and they were so delighted. So I did a healing session with actually the wife, and this person, October, November, December, January, in 5 months he got healed of. He was almost in the 4th level.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So, that really speaks to it. But to me, the key here is don't let it get into the physical body, because it's harder. If you can heal it in the energy body, it's so much easier to change things, to change our lives, not just like disease, but our jobs, our relationships, our everything, right?
Yes, if I'm healing, if I have something in my jaw, I'm gonna be doing a meditation, and I'm gonna ask the masters to heal from the energy fields.
Yeah. And
then I don't feel the pain.
Right, exactly. And sometimes it can be, you can feel the pain. I remember somebody doing a past life thing with me, it was my jaw. And I remember that what came up, what I saw as they were taking me through the journey, what I saw was, as a very small child in a past life, my father had hit me with a shovel on the jaw, and it actually killed me. Mm-hmm. It broke my jaw and killed me. And so I was able to see myself helpless, small child, and I died at the hands of my father. It wasn't on purpose, but it happened. But when I could see it that way, and I could look back at my body, and it was just a body, just like this one, just a body, and look at my father in that scenario and forgive him and forgive myself, or, you know, then the pain could be released. So so it's interesting, because the pain wasn't from this lifetime, but it was, sure, I could feel it in this lifetime for sure. So it was a very interesting experience. And I have personal experience with these kinds of things that I'm just sharing, because I know that it's, for some people, it's like, oh wow, that is so far out. But at the same time, I have a feeling that when people watch a video like this, watch or listen to the audio portion of this, they're drawn to it for a reason. There's no accidents. That, you know, people that are attracted to it are attracted for a reason. So the other part of it, you were talking about relationships, and I wondered if you, like you said with that other couple, the woman had written the request, and it was the husband that was sick. Do you ever do, like, say it's a relationship issue, like husband-wife issues, or mother-child issues? Mm-hmm. Can you work with, like, let's say it was me and my problem was with my child now, and my child doesn't want, you know, isn't even talking to me maybe, or something, and I come to you. Can you work with, and the angels and guides, can you work with me and that other person energetically?
Yes, I have some clients like that. The mothers come and they tell me the stories, the problems with their son, and we heal from the energy perspective. And then the mother shifts. She has more expansive knowledge why this is happening. So then she doesn't react anymore. Mm-hmm. So she creates a space for understanding.
Right.
And then I'm not sure what's going on now with them, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm just sort of wanting to share with people what the possibilities, the potentials are for people to work with yourself, Teza, and into because I think maybe not all, but a lot of people now are sort of past the novelty part about people that work with energy. Like, you know, maybe 50 years ago, people went to the fair once a year, and there would be somebody in a little booth doing crystal ball readings and tarot and stuff, and it was or tea leaves or whatever it was. It was always done in fun, but they were always hoping there might be something more. But it seemed like it was more of just a fun thing, and that nobody ever took it really seriously. A few people did, but it wasn't. And now people are starting to understand that these are gifts. It's not a circus act, really and truly. There's a reason why these are given. And I wondered if you could share before we, I want to cover as much as we can today that to help people, but what it was that drew you to, because one thing to know these things and to have these experiences as you do, but to write a book that can help others and to offer your services the way you do to help others. Why did you feel called to do that?
Why? I was always, as a child, I've always known that I've always looked at the stars. In the Philippines, it's amazing. Every night before I go to sleep, I would look at the stars. And I would make 3 wishes. For my parents to have a long life, for them to be happy, and for me to be happy. And all those wishes came true. My father was 90 when he died. My mom was 80. So anyway, I'm always in tune, and I knew that I wanted to be able to help. I was always the peacemaker in the family. Mm.
But also you went into nursing, which is a caregiving kind of a role, which is, you know, it almost to me seems like, I guess what I'm curious about is that sense of sometimes when you have a gift like that, it's almost like there is no question. You just feel the passion to do it. You don't even know why. You just sort of, you know,
it's fire. I have fire.
Yeah.
I have passion. Like, if you ask me what I'm going to do today before I die tomorrow, I'll be writing. It's a driven, like, even with my relationship with my children, when they were growing up, I would write letters to them. And like every Christmas, they will receive a Christmas card, what we did, a reflection for the whole year. So everything is about writing and teaching and helping. And I actually wrote a book, like 2010, it was finished, but it won't come out. It's called Star Lotus. So it became like my Bible. And I'm just getting some like insights from it. Like, this book is actually from that book.
Okay.
So it's like,
you're not going to publish the other
I'm not sure if that's
okay.
published, but it's just is. I have this vision, like that I'm going to be writing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and when it comes like that, when it feels so natural, it's like there's just nothing you can't do because you don't know why you're doing it. You just feel like doing it. It's like a painter. Why does a painter paint?
Yeah, it's an art.
It is, and you just have to. So, and I want to again just remind people. So, if they are feeling a call to, they want to experience this kind of healing process, they connect with you. They send you an email, and then you do Skype sessions. And do you do in person as well?
Yes, they come to me.
Okay,
so Vancouver.
And you can set that up for them. So in Vancouver, BC, obviously, if they're in that area, or they want to fly in just to see Teza, then that's cool too. Yeah, and so a session is about what, an hour?
An hour, yes.
And then you just and they just tell you, like you say, bring an intention. Bring questions, and then you go through the process with them. So that's very cool. Is there anything else? I know you're doing some weekly forecasts. Do you want to tell people about that, Teza?
Yeah, I just connect to the Doreen Virtue cards, and I tap into it and feel the energy. I just go with the flow.
And then share that. So where can people read that or hear it or listen?
On YouTube.
On YouTube. On your YouTube channel.
Teza Mystic Angel.
Awesome. That's awesome. And also, anything else you have going on coming up that you want to share with people, Teza?
Oh, I've been doing a book club like every Monday in my home. So we have a core group that studies the book.
Studies your book?
Yeah.
Oh, what an awesome idea.
So we're like 10 people, and then we read and we study, we ask questions, experiences. So it's like a healing.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm going to do a workshop and exposition on body, soul, spirit here in Vancouver.
Oh, very cool.
It's international exposition.
Right.
By April. That's way far, but
that's good. No, to let people know that you're going to be there in the one in Vancouver, because it's all over the place. They have those.
Yeah, they have it in Alberta, Regina, Calgary, or something.
Yeah. So I know they're very common every year, so it's great. But so where can people get more information about that? Will that be on your website when you?
In Facebook.
Okay.
There's a page there for Body, Soul, Spirit Exposition in Vancouver.
Okay. All right. Well, that sounds wonderful. I've enjoyed today's chat, and I'm hoping that the audio works out really well this time, so that people can get a better insight, and to leave us their feedback if they've enjoyed it or if they have questions, because we are going to chat again, and we are going to explore more and in more deep. And as I get a chance to look more into the book too, I will have some questions for you from that. But I really enjoyed this, Teza. I think that's my passion, is to transform fear. And, some people say, oh, I don't have any fear around that. Fear is sometimes it's anxiety, sometimes it's just this feeling of uncertainty about unknown. So the more we talk about things, the more people can experience it as the gifts that they are, and not turn away from them, because sometimes that little bit of help, like in the energy field, can prevent things from manifesting in the physical body, and that can make for a much better life.
Yes, awesome.
So, well, thank you very much, Teza, for joining us, and it's been wonderful. I'm looking forward to our next chat.
Oh, thank you so much, Catherine.
And thank you to the people viewing and the audio and listening to it, and for sharing it with all of your friends and letting people know Teza's out there. Teza Zialcita, Universal Conscious Self. It's been a real treat. Until next time, take care.
Wasn't that amazing? Thank you to my guests for sharing with us today. Thank you for watching. Feel free to share the link. You can join us for live shows by going to letsgetrealchattinwithcatherine.com and listen to the replays from the show page, preview guests, and explore links to our Facebook fan page, WordPress blog, and more. We are creating an exquisite world. Until next time, take care.